Hello and welcome to the most hated show in the black corner of the internet. This is your host, the Whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Mind, and this is July 2nd, 2019. And you know I got a nice show for you today. Well, let's look at the city. It has this mural of a painting, right? And they had a mural prior, and they decided to take that mural down. But the mural they took down and the one they put up, the people had a problem with it. When you see it, is it offensive to you? Check that story out. Another story is that they said in Charleston, South Carolina, racial bias study saying that the demographics of the police officers who protect the community that many of us live in seem to not match according. So they think that there should be something that allow black folks to be more of a majority amongst them peoples, or our peoples, right? And so a study said there is bias in the hiring. Check that story out. Well, it was in Florida. A black man was driving in this vehicle, got pulled over by a police officer. Police officer said he smelled marijuana. Brother kind of was like, maybe he wouldn't feel like going to jail. Well, some things took place. One thing led to another. Well, let you see and how you will make the call if it was you in that situation. Well, they always say they're all DWB and things like that. Well, what about pooling while black? Well, two systems that, if you have a clubhouse, you should live in one of these type of facilities. And, Neighborhood Watch see you had something that is against regulations, decide to come down and try to be a good Samaritan and causes a situation. You see the scenario, you see the story, you make the call. Well, you ever noticed that you ever been to court? For those who ever been to court, have you ever got a transcript back from hearing what you said? Well, they call them court stenographers. How is it that if a person, when you speak, is transcribing what you said, but they transcribe it the way they understand it, can it make and break your case and make an outcome? Check this story out. Well, how about this? Sisters were pooling while black. Well, what if you should be happen to have pneumonia, you got asthma, you've been rushed to the hospital, and then, the doctor said, okay, you're dealing with this, you done been here for a little bit, you was on vacation, walk around. Well, you decide, well, I'm going to take it a little further than just walking down the hall. Maybe it's crowded. You go outside. Watch what this situation happened when he goes outside being black while sick. Check that one out. Is it okay for us to have money? No matter what age you is? Well, what if you're 10 years old and just happen to have some money? It's not really real money, but it look like real money, and you have a hard time getting along with people. So you start passing them out to your buddies on the bus. Bus driver see it, tricks on you. Check this story out. Well, you got this thing talking about the perception of how people see each other, right? Study came out and said what they said. Well, check that on how that is. And last but not least, we have old Roland Martin said some things the other day and used the word asinine. It's what he called us as black Americans who don't want to go along, get along. Well, check that out. Again, I'm your host, the Whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Mind. And this channel to report, communicate, articulate, insinuate, decode, unveil, spread the news, whether by news, video, website, quotes from publication. As I, your Whiteologist, ask that the creator of the universe be here, heart, soul, and mind and spirit. We ask that he be present. Because why? The truth don't need no partner. And you know what my motto is? Well, first, before I say what my motto is, as a descendant of the greatest people who created the greatest land, what we call the United States, we give honor to our ancestors. We call it a BADOS, Black American Descendant of Slaves, or Black African Descendant of Slaves, or American Descendant of Slaves. No, my motto is, I'm never going to tell you what I heard. I'm only going to tell you what I know. Stay tuned for this show. Welcome, y'all. Welcome to the July 2nd, 2019 show. Again, I'm your host, the Whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Minds. And we have another show for you today. First and foremost, I want to say what's good to the subscribers who should be in the house. What's good, fam? Glad to see that you took some time out to come over here and listen to a brother doing a news show today. Thank you for those and the messages and Bernard Thomas and all the videos, brother. You keep it coming because I am watching. And to everybody else, what's good? Passerbys, if you should just happen to go down the wrong road and hit down this dead end and found this show, Black Minds News, you are one of the lucky ones because this is the most hated show on the black corner of the internet. And if you stay, again, like a grand opening that we always have, go down the aisle, see something you might like. You might hear some things depending on it. You might hear some things you might not like. But again, we aim to please and we aim to tell the truth the way we see it. And so, hit that like button, or you may hit the dislike button. I can have a manager come out to you, speak a couple things to you, maybe get you to return, maybe come back again, and maybe we may aim to please for you the next time. Welcome to the Black Minds News Show. Now, let's get into the show. All right, so what we got here is that, it's always some things going on, and we being the Black Americans in this nation, seems that people always got something to say about how they don't like stances we take, the things we do, we're out of place, we don't understand. Just always got some way to try to tell us like we don't know better. Wait a minute, let me tell you this. As Black Americans of this nation, who in the modern world can say their history is equivalent to the history that we, as American descendant of slaves in this land, the United States, and the atrocity that we continue to be in, how is it that other people can come and try to tell us as like you can be in our shoes just because of observance? I think that's very disrespectful to us, right? Just how I look at it. And I'm sorry if somebody should happen to hear me and say that I'm being divisive or I'm trying to distinguish ourselves from them. But again, every nation, when people say they come from there, they get to say they are from where they from, right? Black Americans are where they are, but everybody get to come here, but yet we don't get to have no say-so. We can't have our own opinion. We can't have our own way of looking at things. And if we do, we offended to you, or we become offensive to you because we're trying to make stances for our own. I think people need some reflection on themselves and understand that you are infringing in our home. Until you understand that, it's just going to always be that way. It's one thing to be family and unite, but there's another thing when you're in somebody else's business and then trying to dictate because, again, you're looking at how you can get some benefits out of it for yours. I think that's very disrespectful. But as we go on, we're going to talk about that. So, first story I got here for you. Again, I said there's a story I got here. Matter of fact, let me see if I can do it this way. Maybe I can do it this way. Let's do it this way. So, I got this story here. And this story, again, is just, one of them things. Again, I said, as being Black Americans in this land, people assume that, because of their take on our history, right? People on our take of our history, whether you be white people, whether you be people from other, geographical locations or other persuasions of people, everybody seems like they just got the combination of what it is to be us. They really do. They really just, have very opinionated, think because I went to the universities, I studied, I know you guys well, I socialized, I grew up in the neighborhood. That doesn't give you what we have, the internalness of our ancestors. That's the one thing you cannot understand from us. And it's not just for the simple fact that we are here 2019. You see the things that's going on. You may have partaken of some of the, history, right? things have befall you and people of your people and your family and so forth. But we have a long, extensive history that resides in this, what they call DNA. We had a genetical continuation of what have, again, if you want to call 1619 the beginning. So, excuse me. So when we start saying things, it seems like people are very offensive and trying to say that we don't understand what we're talking about. Well, this video here, let me play this for you right quick. And let's see if, you know, it is or not. So check this out. I'll be right back. A community
known for its cotton fields replaced a chipped and faded mural with a piece of public artwork set back in an earlier time of its history.
But as TV 11's Jordan Howington shows us, some looking at this nod to the past don't find it very innocent.
It's this mural right here behind me that the Chamber of Commerce said was handled with great care. But some say it's created a racial divide.
It is known for slavery and the plantation and all the other stuff.
Here it is, the artwork causing concern in small-town England, an agricultural community. The town's chamber undertook the project with a vision to express how the community formed and progressed over the years.
Just another tombstone on the black's head for them to be down.
I feel like that is racist.
The chamber tells me this was carefully thought out to increase vibrancy and beautify downtown. But some don't see it that way.
It's a subliminal message, like they can't do that. We all are past subliminal messages.
African Americans in the community say the mural depicts a real slave plantation. You can see two laborers in the painting, work hats on, hauling cotton, but the color of their skin unidentifiable.
People create their own imagination of what's on the other side of the hat.
Bernie Lassiter having trouble finding racism in the picture because in the 1940s he began picking cotton in England farm fields. So when he looks at this mural, he sees himself.
And the black people were there, the white people were there, we all worked together.
Though the chamber says intentions were not to offend anyone, some residents don't want an image like this one to represent their town.
Can y'all please take it down? That's all I got to say, man. Please take it down. Please.
I'm told this mural is not complete yet. Its completion is expected in July. In England, Jordan Howington, THV 11 News.
All right, so we see in England town that the Chamber of Commerce decided that there was a mural they had up prior. They thought that, well, we want to do a change of scenery, right? We did some careful thought, we planned it out, and we came with the idea of this grandiose idea. Let's just do this. Maybe this will be better if we did. Let me let you see, huh? Welcome to England, Arkansas, right? And you see in that picture there, right? You see they have cotton all over the house there and some bundles, right? See where they weighed 100 pounds and all that. Okay, now, what would make somebody think that a town that is primarily of black Americans would look at this and not have any kind of objection to it? Now, not everybody is going to have the conscious and the aware and know the historical aspect of the ins and outs, but just the thought of seeing the mural triggers a certain kind of feeling that the people feel like you're kind of being subliminal in the way that you are showing this. We think you are doing some connotative way of poking, prodding, subliminally sending a message that yet the way you're presenting it seems to be somewhat of innocence, right? And so you see the white dude that came there. He said, well, you know, he says, well, that's just the imagination. He says, like, people like to create their own imagination. You see the guy on the two that they got on there, they don't even see the face. Does it have to have a face for what that representation is? Yeah, I mean, think about it. See, it's funny to me how people who know the detriment, the historical detriment that black Americans have gone through in this land of the United States, and act as if like that was just something that just happened and we're over it. We are the people of who are the people from then of the people today. And it just keeps showing the mindset, the heart, and the uncompassion of people who don't look at it from your perspective because they don't give 2 cents shit about how you feel. Right? And so even the white man goes on to say, well, you know, blacks and whites were working together. Well, come on, stop this, man. What? See, that's why it's like the reparation talk and how people are kind of divisive is because, you know, people want to find a way to get in. Other people who know can't get in or don't want to see you get something. And some people are trying to figure out a way how I can find something in my tree, you know what I'm saying? Shake the tree and maybe a nigga fall out and then I can claim the nigga and maybe I can get some money. Or we're going to try to make it again. It's called Magnolia's myth. Magnolia's myth is to say that the slaves were happy and joyous and gay. No pun intended. Gay to be, you know, in the situation. They were happy. Everything was good. They didn't have no worries. There was no animosity whatsoever. But again, whose side are we talking from? You see? So again, I think these ancestors, my relatives, these people who come from out of the ADOS or BADOS have a right to say, we don't want to be seeing this shit. Not on the 400-year anniversary unless you know, is this mural, what is it? What is it supposed to be representative of? Or you say, oh, this is how the land was founded. Black folks don't understand that shit? Is that you trying to say, oh, we don't know how all this shit became what it is? Or is it just a reminder how we look at it as the good old days, right? So that was a story for you right there, right? And, you know, some people, again, depend on how you look at it. You know, everybody say, well, you all guys are always very sensitive. You can't walk in my shoes. You can't even imagine it. You couldn't even wear it for a costume. But everybody tries. Everybody think because, you know, I have some black friends and, you know, I listen to the music and I kind of understand you guys. But all that shit is external. It's on the outside. But you can never be from the internal aspect of it. And that's where y'all lose it. And then we speak from a perspective that you can never fathom in your mind. In your wildest dreams, you can never fathom what it is to be us. And that's the shame that y'all can't. You don't want to give us shit. You don't want us to have our own of anything. Anything that we try to have, you still want to somehow capitalize on it or be able to define it in the way that's befitting for you. This is our own lives. This is the history that we, as the descendants, we know what we know. We don't have to explain shit to nobody. If we say what it is, take it for what it is. Moving on. All right, so I got another little story here. Let me go to this reading part here. I got something here I want to go ahead and set up. I got a couple things here. I got this new little thing I want to put up here. Got this little news report, right? I'm going to use that there, right? So that way I could do this, right? So check this out. Check this story out, right? I'm going to start with this one first. So again, let's just say, is racism a figure of our imagination? Does everybody like to try to make it? It's a figure of our imagination. I always want to say play the race card. Well, there's a 10-year-old boy that was up in Maryland, right? And, you know, he's 10 years old, about 4th, 5th grade. I think 4th grade going into 5th grade, right? And, you know, what happened was his mama decided that, you know, she was going to, you know, she purchased him some play money off Amazon, right? That's what she did. And the little boy, he also has a disability, right? So, you know, they moved from another state and came to a state. I think the state was called, what's the state called here? I think it's called Chevy Chase, Maryland, right? And they had moved there back in December. And so they only been there, you know, about 7 months, a little more than about 7 months, right? And so what happened was that the little boy again moved, coming to a new school, having a hard time trying to make that transition, end up pulling out some money. So let me see if I can show you what the money look like, right? Let me show you what the money look like. Let me see if I can show you the money. I think I got it in here. Check this out. Let me show you this money right quick. Okay? Let me let you see. See that right there? Well, that kind of look real, right? It kind of look real. But further observing of it, you see some like Chinese writing on the back. You see the circle with the Chinese writing. And on the left side of the 100, you see some dots going across. Now, accordingly, she bought this on Amazon, right? Gave it to him. So he decided that, you know, he's going to go to school, right? And he's just going to try, you know, pass it out at the bus. What he did, he passed it out at the bus. And, you know, and somehow, I guess, you know, the kids recognized that shit wasn't real. And so what happened, he left maybe one on the bus. So the bus driver seen the money and was like, you know, matter of fact, let me show you this. I don't have to do that. Let me show what the little brother look like, huh? Let me show the brother. Let's see if I got it. I should have it. Yeah, I got it right here. Let me show y'all. Instead of doing it that way, let me show it to you like this. So you can see, get the little brother there, right? 10-year-old Maryland boy questioned by police after he played with toy money, right? So again, here it is, the little boy. They ain't gonna give his name because again, he underage. But his mother name is Tiffany Kelly. And so what happened is, bus driver decided he's gonna call the police about the money. And so next day when the young man goes to school, police come to school. Now this is a 10-year-old boy he has disabilities. So, you know, he kind of maybe in one of the special class, right? And so the police come and take him, interrogate him. Now everybody who knows, who had children, had signed children up, you know, there's emergency forms and things that you have to fill out. Case of emergency, or a parent and have numbers, job numbers, you know, if something should go wrong, first thing the school's supposed to do is what? Call who's ever on the list, right? So here it was, they interrogated the son the whole time and don't know when it originally happened. Don't know if it was at the beginning of the day. Don't know if it was after lunch. Was it closer to going home time? No records. Nobody wants to disclose that. So the shorty is sitting in there being interrogated by the police. Now, again, you've seen the money, right? Now, I know for those a little older who went back, remember the old money? That money, you knew that money did not look nowhere close to no real money. I'm going to give it that. That old money we used to have, that money was phony. That was, it was a fake, like a $2 bill used to be this term. Then they made a $2 bill, right? So, end up, this money here, that money looked realistic. Now, again, the bus driver, maybe he was pissed off. He thought he had caught him $100. Kind of find out, he tried to spend that shit, kind of find that shit wasn't real. Maybe that's what it was, and he pissed off. Had his mouth all, you know, salivating, thought he found him some money. He was about to get him a drink, maybe going to the joke man, maybe doing something. Maybe he got beamed up, you know what I'm saying, trying to pass that you know, that phony ass money and got whooped up. He didn't look at it like that. He just grabbed, put it in his pocket and moved on. But now if the police gets that, right, again, look at this money, man. Look at the money. Look at this money, man. Come on, man. Are we just, again, come on. You seen this money here. Toy money, let me get that up here. Right, let me say, let's get that image up there again, right? See this image here, man? So when the police got that in their hand, they look at it and they can see that Chinese writing in the back and all that, what makes them not say this money ain't real, right? What makes them realize that money ain't real, right? But that's no, they on focus on interrogating because why? Little brother there, right? Little brother, right? So to go to the school again, nobody knows how long they interrogate the little boy over that, and so she's saying that they over policing minority children, right? I mean, she's saying black, right? And you have to say, how would you feel? Come to find out they're interrogating your child. And the school don't even inform you nothing about it. You have to hear about it after the boy or the daughter get home. So you saying, well, damn, where's the protocols of the school that's supposed to adhere to the policies that you state? You didn't do it, right? And so she decided that she made, a thing about the community. Community got together, got about 400 signatures. And, not understanding why would you be questioning a disabled child about something that you could see. Now, we understand if they were trying to spend it, right? I think there's something against the law. Matter of fact, I think that's originally how they came up with the Secret Service. If I'm not mistaken, Secret Service started off as counterfeit money, and they was the one going out, to resolve those issues. That's how they first came up, was that Secret Service was about the counterfeit money, right? Then they also had the duty later on is protecting the president, right? So, again, I think this Chevy Chase is in Washington, D.C. was Maryland. So they, again, the Secret Service could have been coming. But they would have noticed it when they looked at it, would have realized, like, that's some phony ass money. What the hell, right? But she believed because he was black that they go ahead and they decided to go on. I mean, it's big pink Asian symbols on the front and the back of the money. You don't show the front though, but it talks about that. And so again, they saying, well, it's outrageous that you questioning the son. It's fake play, counterfeit money. It's not illegal. Now again, accordingly, law says unless you're trying to spend it. So once that had all been recognized, had not the police decided to say, okay, well, that's some bullshit. Let's go on about our long hair. But no, maybe it's because this suburb that she moved into, this Chevy Chase, has about 9,500 residents, according to the 2010 census. And they said about only 5% of that 9,500, right, is about, so that's about barely about 500 people in this all-white area, which is about 85% white, according to the U.S. Census, right? So you know what it is. They don't want no black people in there. See, sometimes you can have money and reside in places that's affordable to, kind of economics you got, but it may be the area and the people that are around you that have a problem because you're there. And we can see that here it was a way to try again to steal something, some fear, or to antagonize a young man, because it didn't take all that. And if I could observe that and you could observe that, then they should have been able to observe that too. The school itself should have been able to observe that and recognize what it was. You understand? And so, again, that's how it is, right? So now it is, now instead of saying, driving while black, now it could be just a simple fact that you just black with money, right? Little boy got some money in his pocket and, it's fake money. And yet a grown-ass adult couldn't even discern that was fake money. That he felt like it was his obligation and his duty to extend himself to make sure that, he might be selling drugs. Bullshit, man. See, this racism shit is so deep and entrenched and cancerous in people that when somebody like the whiteologist sitting here talk about it, you upset. But again, as I said, as being black Americans in this country, you try to put on the costume and think you can somehow understand what we go through, you're never going to get it. And even people who have the same hue, because let me tell you again, black Americans don't mean the color. It is the amalgamation of the people of historical ancestry in the land that we call the United States. As amalgamated group, we have become considered the black tribe, right? And so when people who are outside of that dynamic don't really understand historically and what we have gone through, but yet because you think you have the same skin, I would say everything of my skin is my kin. You might be of kin, but you don't have the same historical understanding I got in this land. And y'all best recognize this shit, because it's kind of getting a little old, and it's getting to the point that we're going to have to start checking a lot of y'all, right? Not because we're trying to be, divisive. We just have to say, if you had an issue, matter of fact, you in our house, we don't speak against on y'all situations, But it seems like when it's our business, everybody want to talk as if they want to be saying they're experts on our situation. No, we do our own talking. We don't need you to do that, right? So anyway, that's what that story was on that, right? So let me show you this here. So again, dealing with the police. Now, what happens when you in a situation like that, right? This is what happens sometimes because, again, historically, due to what we've been through, we're not real comfortable with police. And sometimes you ain't done nothing. But let me show you this right quick, and I'll be right back after the little break. So check this out. I'll be right back. Check it out.
Next, frightening moments for a sheriff's deputy during a traffic stop in Florida. Authorities say the driver appeared agitated and refused to cooperate, suddenly taking off with the deputy hanging from the door. The driver dragging him not once but twice, the deputy with his gun drawn. Here's ABC's Marcus Moore.
Tonight, a driver is facing an attempted murder charge after this routine traffic stop turns into an officer's terrifying ride from the side of an SUV.
I'm telling you right now, stop! Stop!
Watch as Seminole County Deputy Aaron Blaze is dragged twice, clutching onto the side of the car as it speeds away, hanging on for dear life. It started with that traffic stop for an alleged window tinting violation. Police body and dash cameras capturing the entire incident.
I smell marijuana.
38-year-old Rocky Rudolph seemingly becoming agitated and then seen dragging the deputy 20 feet the first time.
Right now! Stop! Stop!
Rudolph stopped briefly, then is seen dragging the deputy again.
Push your hands up! You put it in park!
This time for 100 feet. His body cam falling to the ground, with the deputy managing to shoot Rudolph in the leg.
This is a bad dude who almost killed one of our deputy sheriffs on the side of the road.
The sheriff saying Rudolph was also armed. You can see the deputy fall from the car before Rudolph drove off. And when 8 hours later, police were able to catch up with Rudolph. They took him into custody. He was taken to the hospital with a leg wound. Meantime, the sheriff's deputy has since been released from the hospital. Whit?
Good to hear that deputy is recovering. Marcus, thanks.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the
All right, so we back. All right, so we see a brother that was in Florida. Seen him been driving this vehicle. Looked like he had a Black and Mild in his mouth, right? You know, everybody, most of y'all probably know what a Black and Mild is, right? So like he had a Black and Mild in his mouth, had his windows all down. And Mr. Officer said he was pulling over due to some fact about this tent window. I'm still not understanding this law about this tent window. I get that tent can be so dark that you can't see somebody in there, and they could be kind of, using that as a cover, so they could be doing some dirt. But again, sometimes people have factory tent, right? You got that factory tent, right? How you supposed to take that out, right? And I guess there can be some regulations as to how dark tent can be, right? But I think, again, like I said, a lot of times it seemed like I seen, here where I'm at, and they were showing a commercial about the fireworks, and they was now made a new law, not so much about, it's already a law against the law to go purchase it and, you know, shoot them off. Now they're saying if somebody is firing them off around your household, you could be liable for it. So it's like, wait a minute. So why are you penalizing people when you can just go ahead and put the damn business out of business? You know what I'm saying? Put their ass out of business, right? You selling something that is illegal, then why don't you just go ahead and shut them down? It's kind of like saying, like, cigarettes. If cigarettes is causing cancer and all this stuff, but what you do is you raise the taxes on the people who try to make, you know, so much for a pack of cigarettes as a way to deter them, but it doesn't deter them, but yet you know the detriment it's causing when it comes to health, then why won't you just go ahead and shut down the industry? Because no, it's too big and too much money, and its tentacles are all up in, you understand, Washington, D.C., so that ain't gonna happen. So what's gonna happen? You get penalized. So anyway, so see again, you know, police says, you know, again, discretion. How do we know that he smelled marijuana, right? He said he smelled marijuana. Now, again, with most of the states primarily going into legalization of marijuana, you know, I guess you could, you know, I smell marijuana. You know what I'm saying? You know, okay, again, let me tell you this. One time I was out, it was Thanksgiving. You know how you go, now again, I tell you how to celebrate. This is at a time, you know, again, you try to still social lives with your family and so forth, right? So you know how brothers do to get together. Somebody got a joint. Everybody, you know, puff a little bit, okay? So, you know, sitting in somebody's car, police roll up, right? Everybody, oh, shit, man. Oh, I ain't gonna smell that weed and shit. Be cool, y'all. This how you gotta do it, right? He come to the car. Mr. Blowmind said, you know what I'm saying? He said, well, you know, we got a call saying, you know, people sitting in the car, ooh, this and this and that. Because we was kind of like across the street from where we lived at. And it was the facility, but no parking. Nobody was in there parking. So we just kind of parked over just to, you know, blow the smoke, right? So, you know, I know the minute I rolled the window down, he smelt it. And I told him, I said, man, you know, it's Thanksgiving, you know, family together, had a joint, you blew a joint, you know what I'm saying? Man, ain't no more weed, ain't nothing else in here. Guess what? He was like, all right, man, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all. He said, that's across the street, we live right there. He said, man, all right, you'd be better just going over there and everything be cool. See, you know why? I let him know what straight up went trying to hide shit. You understand? So, you know, again, the truth don't need no partner. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to work for everybody. I'm just saying, again, as Mr. Bloody Man, I always got stories once in a while. I'm going to tell you something, right? So that's what happened. You know, maybe that's what you could have did, brother. Could have been like, all right, man, I'll puffing on motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got shit else in there. Ain't got no pounds, none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you want to check, go ahead and do what you got to do. Now, again, if you got more and you got a whole lot of shit, again, because when you looked at that video, my man was doing a lot of no-nos. You understand that? He was doing a lot of no-nos. He trying to grab gun, you know what I'm saying? He already fidgety, you know what I'm saying? My man on there hanging on, you know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you, if I'm a cop and you start driving off, I'm trying to get the fuck up off there, and then maybe, you know, if I'm close enough, either I shoot the wheel or I jump back into the vehicle and I'm going to chase your ass down. I ain't finna be hanging on this motherfucking you driving. And we finna about to get on the expressway. So the first time you should have got your ass off. Second time, well, you know what I'm saying? This motherfucker high head. You know what I'm saying? So to preserve your life would have been just to get off, go get in your car, and let's go ahead and use this radios, and we're going to, you know what I'm saying, he going to be on expressway, we're going to have to, you know, do the old, hit the back maneuver, make you flip, twist, and then we're going to roughhouse you and throw your ass in jail, right? But why put yourself in harm's way? He's not complying to you saying stop. So you see that again, to make the situation to garner that it was valid what they end up doing, because they say he ended up having a wound to his leg, but we didn't see no shot fired off by that cop at that time. So when did the shot go off? Later when they caught up with him? You get what I'm saying? They took him to the hospital then because he was already shot. Maybe he should have been somewhere. If he got away, he should have been cooling out somewhere trying to get somebody going, you know, find him a Chinese some motherfucking way and get this shit sewn up, right? No offense to the Chinese, you know how the movies be playing and shit, right? Anyway, so he said he's a bad dude. No, he was a bad dude, and they say they found a gun. So again, that you got to throw enough shit to make it stick, right? Because if it was just tint windows and smell marijuana, I still didn't hear nothing else other than the fact that now that you find the gun, I ain't heard nothing that you find no more weed. Now again, he got away. Maybe he dumped off everything. Okay, maybe, I don't know, possibly. But we just gonna say the only thing we hear now is he had a gun afterwards, and so how now he gets his leg wound. I guess that story will be developed later as time go on. But again, situations is, I guess people when they're in a situation where possibly they already know they dirty. They already know they 2 strikes depending on where you at, right? And motherfucker gonna flee. He ain't trying to go to jail. He'd rather be dead than go to jail because that's what he looked like. He was ready to take the bullet. You know what I'm saying? He dude trying to stick gun at him. He pushing gun and, you know what I'm saying? So that could have worked in a whole lot of different other ways. So, brother, I don't know what your situation is, but you were really playing with giving my man the opportunity to go ahead and just empty the clip and say charge it to the game. You know what I'm saying? I don't advise anybody in that situation unless, again, you know your situation better than me observing. But from observation, you know what I'm saying? If it was like, well, fuck it, I ain't going back, but you back anyway, then you have to ask yourself, was it worth it? Because I think you probably could have talked yourself out that situation and maybe get him to understand that there was no threat, no harm. I smell some weed. This is what it was. You know what I'm saying? Okay, maybe you got a gun. Maybe you ain't supposed to have a gun. Maybe that's what it was too. So again, that story's out there for those who didn't see it. All right, so we're going to move on. All right, so what else I got up in here, my trick bag for you? Check this out. Well, I guess we might as well go ahead and do this one because I've seen this with this police, right? And let's go ahead and do it like this. Like this.
Soon we're learning more about.
All right, go back. Come on, don't do that. Just going to do it this way. And we're going to do it right so everybody can see it. So check this out and be right back.
Soon we're learning more about initial findings of a racial bias audit on the City of Charleston Police Department. Since February, an outside consultant group has conducted 75 interviews with department personnel and met with 250 community members to learn more about the department's policies, use of force, and hiring process. As a result of the initial findings, the department has made changes to their hiring process in an attempt to more accurately reflect the demographics of the Lowcountry. They've also did their pre-academy training, which covers gender identity training, de-escalation tactics, and constitutional law.
We know that the communities that most often need us the most are the communities that trust us the least. We know that we have issues and challenges when it comes to race, public trust, community engagement, and a lot of different areas. We are embracing this audit. We're excited about it. It is already yielding good outcomes.
The final report will be released in late September, and you can count on us to continue to follow this story.
So we see in Charleston, South Carolina, they got an audit for the police department. Did about 75 interviews, said in there. And it comes out that Charleston has a racial problem. And last time we talked about Charleston, South Carolina had to be with that brother that had that traffic ticket. Remember, right? The one, the brother jumped out, police chased him down. The one brother that was having to be by that seen it, videotaped. As a matter of fact, I did that video. Those who might have seen it, I remember doing that video talking about who else was there, right? And you seen that tree, it had a face in that tree that was there the whole time. You go back and see that video, if you didn't see it, you'll see a face in the design of the tree. And I said, who was there? That looked like that could be the creator was right there, right? Because that brother had lost his life. And all over that he had I think it was either child support, and he just had a new job. Now, he had a job before where he lost his job due to the simple fact, because again, do child support, the king got the money, got a job, you get arrested, you know what I'm saying? all this time off, you lose your damn job. How you gonna pay child support? So you know what I'm saying? That whole thing about, again, brother taking care of his responsibilities when he got the opportunity of the economics. When he don't got it, what good is locking somebody up who ain't got shit? I can see if when they lock you up, they gonna get your ass a job so you can pay this damn money. What's wrong with that part? You know what I'm saying? Think about that. Why don't the system say, okay, if I catch a motherfucker out here who owe child support, what I'm going to do is we going to have jobs for your ass to make some money so your ass can pay the damn bill. Well, don't that seem more, sound too much like right? Sound too much like right. But anyway, so, situations like that, Charleston had it again, tased, and went from tased and lied and said the man went for the gun and ended up killing the brother, right? And then another thing was shown on the video, and yet that whole case kind of just went under the underground too, right? Like it never did happen, right? So Charleston has this kind of, situation, same place that a man shoot up a church and still go and take him to Burger King before he take him to the jail. So to say that the chief told us that we have problems, yes, y'all do. A lot of police departments got a lot of problems. A lot of it is racial problem because, again, seemed like, there was a transformation of an organization that used to be this way and this way to find a way that we're going to use this as a way to, hide behind and do our dirty work. And so now what's happening is now that, black people, black Americans are, starting to use the political and using community and starting to use the things that try to, instill certain kinds of legislations and laws that will benefit to protect them. And so, once they start doing these audits and investigations and, see these statistics, they're going to find out that there's a lot of biasness going on in here. And so it's only going to be good in the way for the long term, hopefully, that it can, again, just because they're doing audits, because, again, remember they did it with Mike Brown, I think, what was his name, Eric Holder, and they did that audit to there, and they come to find out that they were, but I don't think it changed too much, right? High-end practices and so forth. Again, you got to find quality, qualified police officers. Then it's under discretion of them where they say whether you were good or not. So there's always ways to get around shit, even though you may say we're going to do training and all. That still don't mean it's still a human element that has the final say-so to do certain things. Until you can eradicate that part, then I guess this thing is still going to be persistent, no matter how you look at it, right? So that's Charleston, South Carolina, and them having their issues again, as they say, with trying to rectify and trying to bring some kind of balance to the population versus the police force, so that there wouldn't be so many, the camaraderie between police officers and community has died a lot due to what done happened over the last, we had 8 years with Obama, and then you almost going on 4 years. So we're talking about the last 12 years and more, right? So, the rapport with community and police is not on the favor. So they got a lot of work to do, especially when we're talking about black Americans, right? So we'll stay tuned to see how that report comes out later on. All right, so now again, I got a story for you here. Let me go to this story here. Let me do this, right? I got a story for you here. So let me do this. What should I do for that? Should I say, how about this one? How about this one? This story tripped us. We talking about police, right? Check this story out, right? All right, black man in hospital gown with IV arrested outside Illinois hospital for disorderly conduct. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Right? Of all things, right? So, what it is this brother, right, as you see on your screen there. And this brother was on vacation and somehow caught pneumonia, right? He had asthma, he got pneumonia, and end up being, admitted in the hospital. And he had been there for a period of time, they say that he was dealing with double pneumonia while on vacation, right? And this was a Freeport hospital. And then after he had done his duration, I guess he was getting a little better, getting a little bit more strength, to kind of, walk around, get yourself, try to get some strength back in yourself. So he decided, I'm going to take it a little bit further. I'm going to try to go out and get me a little air around the hospital, right? Because his doctor had told him to walk around for a little while. So he decided he was going to go outside with it, like as I was saying, right? And so what happened is, the brother name is, what's the brother name? That brother name is something Dukes, if I'm not mistaken. What was that brother's name? Shaquille Dukes is the brother's name that you see in the photo there. Right? So Shaquille Dukes decided to go outside, then all that happened is the security of the hospital decide to, that not even to even ask him what he was doing. He said that he was trying to leave the hospital to sell the IV equipment on eBay. Wait. Let me say that again. Security guy see a cat that got an IV in his arm, got on the hospital gown, and his way of looking at the situation was, my man is stealing, leaving the hospital with an IV equipment, and he said he going on eBay. Now, I mean, you talking about somebody stretching some shit. If that ain't stretching it, huh? So, based on the situation here, what does the guard do? He goes and calls Freeport Department. Well, you know what's going to happen now, right? Several officers going to arrive, right? So, here they is, based on what this security officer at the hospital, tells the police officer that story that I just told you, and they go ahead and start arresting this man, right? And they can see clearly that this man, this brother Shaquille Dukes, has an IV in his arm, got on the gown, right? And the brother says, wait a minute, what, okay, what's going on? What you trying to arrest me for, right? He said, I'm being treated at the nearby hospital right over there, right? The officer said, I don't care why you here. You're going to jail. Let me say that again. The officer said, I don't care why you're here. You're going to jail. Now, the brother Shaquille Duke, again, has an IV. And the IV is not removed by doctors. They remove it. The police officer is removing the IV from out of his arm to throw him and put him in back of the police car. Now, again, remember I told you that the brother had asthma, right? He had asthma. And so, as they driving him to jail, he started to have a seizure, an asthma attack. And so the officer just sitting there kind of looking at him like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's wrong with you? Everybody, after 4 minutes later, Shaquille Duke says that he decided after he became unresponsive, meaning when he fell out, mysteriously, he said miraculously, guess what appears on him? Goddamn inhaler. Huh? Can you believe that? And so now here goes the Freeport Department says that the IV that Shaquille Dukes had, he said, no, that wasn't removed by police officers. That was removed by staff members at the hospital. And he said, at the patient's request. I'm going to say that again. See, this is what I'm saying. People want people to adhere to police officers, to obey my words. But we as black Americans in this country know police lie, man. Is that saying all police officers? You got to pick out the ones, right? We saying that they will fabricate and lie on reports to what they say, CTA. You know what CTA is? Cover thy ass, right? Cover thy ass, because I know I'm fucking up and I got to make this shit look good in the report so somebody go back and look. But again, the truth don't need no partner. You can lie. A lie is like not a straight line. It moves because it's not consistent. It has holes and dips and, You understand? But a troop is like a flat line dead. It don't move. It don't wiggle. It is what it is. And so now you have to backtrack because the shit didn't make sense. A man is in his gown. A man got an IV. And dumbass motherfucking security guard talking about some motherfucker stealing it and talking about taking it to eBay? How do he know that? How the fuck does he know that shit? And the dumbass cops. Not all, Jesse Lee Peterson. Not all, right? Just these motherfuckers was like, well, how the fuck did you know they going to eBay? Right? Are you patient around here? Man, take your ass back over to that goddamn hospital, man, because this motherfucker want us to arrest you. Where is this, you know what I'm saying, rapport with the community? You know, back in the day, you used to have a flat foot. Yeah, that's right. Back in the school, back in the day, called it a flat foot. Flat foot in the community that was walking the beat. You knew this cat. He was the neighborhood motherfucker walking around and everybody knew him. When shit went down and he there, he kind of seen, he knew you from shorty up to teenage and so forth. If he knew you like that and you was in a situation, he worked that shit out. He ain't trying to put you in jail. What happened to that kind of camaraderie that used to be with the community? Well, everything is again, because you know Mr. Blowmind done already told you that most of this shit is a merit. Police officer is a merit job. It's based on how many arrests and all this shit so you can move up in the ladder so that you become, you know, captain, chief, whatever all of the damn, you know, position that is moving up the ladder is. So sometimes motherfuckers will take motherfucker and he'll turn to a molehill just because he need that shit to have to say he doing some shit out here, trying to move up to another position. And it didn't dawn on you, you taking the IV out of a motherfucker, you could have died. The man had a seizure in the back of the damn car. And yet, when they go to them to talk about it, they switch the motherfucking story and say, oh no, he's saying the hospital removed it. And he requested it to be removed, right? So, again, you understand? It's just, it's funny. And then, you know, another part to the story is, it wasn't just that brother. It was three brothers. And one was his brother that was with him. But they only want to focus on him. But it was actually three of them, right? And so they took all three of them in, released them afterwards. And this brother Shaquille Duke said the public reserves the right while a complete review of the incident is performed. Well, that was what the police were saying. Well, you know, they got to go to the policy, right? Policy is, well, the public is the right to reserve judgment. They don't want y'all to judge until let us do our investigation and figure out what it is. And then afterwards, if you feel we did it wrong, then okay. But alleging unfair and biased conduct by responding officers, well, you know, that's his word versus our word, right? Yes, we told you what we said, but you look what he's saying. You're taking his word over our word. Because why? No one trusts y'all anymore. You're standing amongst the community, especially with black Americans, you know, y'all D minus F. You understand? You're not doing well with us. So we don't really take everything that y'all say based just on the simple fact that y'all said it. Now, other people may take it and say upholding, upstanding, law. Yeah, maybe you could say it, but we can't say that because, again, we have too many incidents, right? Well, we see that men could go to jail for 32 years, 40-something years, and was innocent the whole damn time. We see 5 young men go there with no kind of evidence, but yet they sitting there doing time and being persecuted, publicly lynched to say that they didn't, come to find they didn't do it. So, you know, you're just not going to have that kind of rapport with people. So last and all this, Shaquille Duke said that his brother was one of the other people arrested, and it was truly one of the most racist cities in America. Duke wrote, this ends today. So he's saying, again, what I keep telling y'all, when you in them situations, don't get to all that. Go ahead and let it go through the process and don't go get that check cut. It's the only thing you won't be able to do these days, get the check cut. Because let me tell you something. Boy, it's so much racial shit out here today that it's easy to get a check. If you get in one of those situations, if you catch one of them motherfuckers, if he ain't, you know, trying to put you 6 feet, you know what I'm saying? Trying to get you carried by 6, right? If he ain't trying to get you carried by 6, then if you can, you know, somehow get about the situation, you go and get that motherfucking check because they paying, right? Because there's so much of the shit out here. Well, it's this brother here, Duke Shaquille Dukes, that again, walking sick while black. Ain't that a bitch, right? Right? Sick while black. Ain't that something? Sick, seen me all the shit, and still it ain't good enough. I mean, you know, we can't, like I say, people can't fathom what it is to walk to be us. We can't really, as a whiteologist, right? You know, it's kind of like they tell you, detectives and movies talking about how to find the mind of a killer. You got to become a killer or get into the mind of a killer. You know what I'm saying? There's only so deep you can go as a whiteologist until you know what I'm saying? You know, so deep you can go, right? Otherwise, because again, you become immersed in that shit and then you just like that. And you got a lot of our people who actually trying to do that shit. They trying to do that shit voluntarily, right? But you get sick like doing that shit. But again, they make a square peg fit in a round hole. So anyway, we'll probably hear some more later on about that story. I'm pretty sure that brother's going to take it to the judicial and, you know, see if he can get some kind of damages for, you know, the situation that took at hand. All right, so what I got in here? Now I got another story for you, right? Got another one for you, right? So let's put it this way, right? Hold on. I'll do this right quick. All right, so let's say, right, again, some of you might know what I'm talking about. You live in a complex where they have amenities. They have a facility for workout, pool, you know what I'm saying, tennis court, all that, you know. So they, you know, some of us done lived in places like that, right? And, you know, they got some rules and, you know, policies and rules that you have to adhere to, right? And, you know, sometimes, but, you know, some people would like to enjoy it to the fullest. Nice day, hot out here, I'm at the pool, you know what I'm saying? You know, have me a little drink. You know, everybody today is all to this trying to take pictures, you know, selfies and shit. Look at everything I'm doing, y'all. Check it out, right? Got all that going, right? And, you know, it's one thing that if somebody is, let's say, an employee of the management of the establishment of the office, right? That's one thing. Check this story out. Well, check this out. Let me go and show this first, and then we come on back. Check this out after the PSA.
Thank you very much, Ellen. Now to a developing story. Caught on camera, two groups of black women say they were racially profiled at a Hyattsville swimming pool, but the man at the center of both viral incidents says she's only recorded the women and called the police because they were breaking the rules. Michael Quander broke this story. So Michael, how did all this start?
Well, Reese, look, here's the deal. Both groups will admit that they both had glass bottles at the swimming pool. And yes, that's against the rules at most pools. But the man caught up in the middle of both of these incidents says that he saw all of this going on from his apartment window and felt the need to go take matters into his own hands.
Glassware is not allowed.
You see this man recording on his phone? That's Nick Starstreet. He left his apartment on Saturday to let this group of 7 black women know that they were breaking the rules by having glass at the pool.
Okay, so glassware. What else do I need to get rid of for you to be comfortable?
One of the women agreed to get rid of the glass and appeared to try to de-escalate the situation. But Starstreet reported the group to the leasing office and then called police.
This man called the whole cops on us.
This all went down at the Addition Apartments off East West Highway in Hyattsville. Police showed up, questioned the women, but they couldn't determine if anyone was breaking the law.
We have different perspectives than what he has.
A second incident happened the next day, on Sunday. It was pretty much the same scenario, a pair of black women at the apartment pool with a glass bottle. This time, you can hear one of the women asking Starstreet not to record her. She knocks the camera out of his hand, and then Starstreet calls 911.
Physically attacked by this woman.
You see, Starstreet says the woman assaulted him and bruised his chest. He is seen in this video following them in the parking lot while on the phone with police.
I get that people see me following people, but they don't realize that they just assaulted me, and I never even engaged with these people.
Despite comments online, Starstreet claims both of these incidents had nothing to do with race. He blames his autism diagnosis for the way he reacted.
The way that my mind works, I don't always click with other people.
You know, a lot of people are not going to see you as the victim here. What do you say to them?
It's the way I think. Like, I mean, I don't see it any other way. That's my problem.
Yeah, now I gotta tell you, most people online are not buying that excuse. Now, we did find that this is not the first time that Starstreet has been at the center of controversy online. He has a history of making racially insensitive posts and anti-gay comments. Still, Starstreet says that since these videos went viral, his apartment door was vandalized with the word racist carved in it, and he's also been getting death threats. Reese?
You know, this is interesting, Michael, because I found his explanation to be possible, but then when you go back and you get the deeper context, then it becomes harder to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Right, because people who have autism tend to get focused in on one thing, and it can turn into an obsession possibly, but again, he has his history of being controversial online.
Understandable. Thank you very much, Michael. Now let's go to Annie.
All right. Say, oh, Starstreet, right? Oh, Starstreet, they call that the neighborhood watch, right? He ain't got no organization. He's just, I'm a concerned deputized citizen, right? So we see that old Starstreet there. Seen two groups of sisters out there enjoying themselves. Got a glass of wine, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he ain't supposed to have no bottles, but primarily we understand that those policies are why they there, because again, it's a pool area, break glass, people out there with no shoes on, and you know, can cause serious damage and get in the pool and so forth. So we understand that, right? So again, they did acknowledge the fact that they did have a bottle, right? My thing is this. Couldn't there have been other ways that if he felt like he needed to, shit, mind his own motherfucking business, huh? Straight up. This motherfucker need to just mind his own motherfucking business. That's what you should have been doing. But again, since you're so concerned, don't they have a phone number to call the office that you could have went down there and told them that, hey, I think some people in there got bottles? Why did you feel the need to take it upon yourself and to accost them about rules that, again, you have no jurisdiction? And that's the funny thing. It's like white people feel like they all can be deputized, and this whole thing about citizen arrest. You really believe that shit? You really believe that you somehow, because you get involved, you deputize, that they give you jurisdiction? Could be the wrong situation, and you actually, put yourself in the wrong situation. So there's other ways you could have did it. But see, check this out, right? Now, again, he was in where he was, in his apartment. So I would have, if sisters should ever hear, maybe I should have said this motherfucker down there peeping down at y'all. In there, whacking Willie and shit. You know what I'm saying? He's in there, you know what I'm saying? Because not just one group, he did two groups. And he looking at sisters, right? Right? He got a problem. He ain't got a problem with nobody else. But again, he says something again like I do. I'll give benefit of the doubt. If he got autism, because yeah, he do seem like his ass is off, right? But off, it seemed like to be a cover, right? Being off seemed like he using that shit as a damn cover, because, if he's saying he autism in the way that he look at things, that's just the way it is, because that's the way his mind thinks. But then how can you be posting racial shit online and shit? Oh, you know how to hate a motherfucker though, right? Yeah, so that's what this social media shit do. They go, hey, look what you did here, right? So you ain't got no problem. Your autism worked pretty fine when you finna talk about gays and talk about black folks. It worked fine then, but in this situation, well, maybe, I'm following them, but again, they assaulted me. What do you mean they assaulted you? You brought your situation to their situation. Yes, you have a right to be at the pool, but did you have the right to accost them, to questioning them is another thing. Yes, you're concerned for the pool, and I get that. But again, there's a proper way. You could have went to somebody there and told. You didn't do that. You decided you called the police. What is it in white folks? White folks, can you please tell me? What is in y'all that every time y'all see niggas having a little fun, and that shit, it just irked you so much, you got to call the cops, right? That's the only way you seen to remedy this situation, so that you feel better at night and sleep that you did good to the niggas in jail because you called the cops. Huh? Is it a sickness? Got to be a sickness, man. There ain't no way that could be a normal, rational way of looking at shit, right? That first thing you do, you see people like that, fuck it, you don't do it. You don't ever do that. You ain't never had part of glass and nothing, trying to sneak this shit in there and do the shit. You break the rules. Everybody do to break the rules once in a while. Again, the problem is if something should break, now you got a problem. But if everybody doing it, okay, we get it. We get it. It's the rules. Everybody don't follow the rules. We know that shit. But there's other proper ways you could have dealt with that didn't make you look the way it is. And now that you feel like you being the victim due to the simple fact that you stuck your nose in somebody else's business. Mind your business. Say nosy body, right? You over there minding other people's business, and you wouldn't have had now get death threats and all that shit if you'd have mind your own business or do proper, what they say, anonymous. You calling, I'm a tenant in the building. I think some niggas are down there and they got bottles. Check it out and hang the fuck up. And that would have been okay, right? All right, Star Street, moving on. All right. So I got this one for you, right? We're getting down to the nitty gritty of the show, right? So check this one out, right? So, you know, what happens when, again, like let's say these situations we'd have seen, brother with the gown going to jail, brother that was driving the car smelled like marijuana, he's going to jail. Sisters, police come, and there was other thing too. Police come, and due to the simple fact that it was sisters, and primarily knowing these sisters working for, you know what I'm saying, sisters got these jobs and got a little bit of money, they seem to be finding a way to come to a meeting of minds that, all right, we're just gonna walk away, everything good, and that's it. But if it had been some brothers in there, I don't think it go that smooth. I think put the couple on, let's go down to downtown, and let's go sort this shit out. We're gonna arrest you first, and then figure out afterwards. See, with sisters, y'all always say y'all got it worse. I'm not gonna say whether who got it worse between the both of us, but I be damned a lot of times y'all can get out of situations that ain't even no conversation when the shit happened to us, right? But I love you anyway. So, all right. So, this situation here again, like I say, you're in court, right? You in fucking court, right? You in court.
In court, there are people.
Yeah, that's right. In court. Say it again. Say it again. Check it out. All right. So you in court, right? And you gotta talk, and somebody in there call themselves a stenographer. A stenographer is the one that be in there typing, right? All that shorthand, probably transcribing everything that's being said. But why is it that it's seen that when we speaking, like you again? A lot of you hear me, you come over here and you listen, right? I ain't gonna say a lot because I can't even get 100 now, right? Since I'm not even live, I can't get 100 now. It's under like 50, 60, right? Ain't motherfucking way, right? But most of you pretty much understand my articulation, right? I don't come with the Professor Kundalaya's talk. I talk in, you know, in the let's say the commoner's talk, right? I speak like a commoner, right? And so, if you can understand the words that I'm saying, and there's times when I will use slang and so forth, and right, you'll know the difference. But somebody else can hear me and be just like you about to see here. Now check this out. Let me show this and be right back. All right, so we'll do that on that side, right? All right, let's do it.
In court, there are people called stenographers, whose job it is to transcribe exactly what they hear during a trial. But when one Philadelphia court reporter heard this phrase, "He don't be in that neighborhood," they transcribed it as this: "We are going to be in this neighborhood." which was actually the opposite of what that sentence meant. In any other setting, such a mistake would be a simple misunderstanding, but in a courtroom, it could mean life or death.
African American English is a language variety that's spoken primarily in North America and primarily by African Americans. It can be thought of and is thought of as a dialect of English, and it's a valid dialect of English, but it has different rules and a different system, so it's not necessarily always understood by people who did not grow up around it or didn't grow up hearing it or speaking it.
That's Taylor Jones, one of the researchers who conducted a study on how African American English is understood in courtrooms.
So court reporters are certified at 95% or 98% accuracy in their transcriptions, depending on the agency that they're certified by. What we did is we tested their comprehension and their transcription accuracy with everyday use of African American English from African Americans from Philadelphia, West Philadelphia, and North Philadelphia, and found that their transcription accuracy was not at 95%. It was well below that, no matter how you score it.
So why does this matter? Sometimes those errors can change the meaning of phrases altogether. And in the courtroom, those details can make or break an alibi.
One common misconception of African American English involves the verb to be. If someone were to ask me, "Where's your brother?" I might respond, "He be at work." He be at work means he's usually at work. I didn't actually tell you where he is. I told you where he usually is. Most people would think that it means he's at work, when in fact it means he's usually there.
The implication of that error is that it's very possible that transcriptions that are used in the courts are potentially inaccurate. And transcriptions can be used in a wide range of aspects of the judicial system.
To test this, researchers played audio recordings of sentences spoken in African American English and asked 27 court stenographers to transcribe them. They found that the transcriptions changed the who, what, when, or where 31% of the time, and the stenographers couldn't paraphrase 77% of the time. The National Court Reporters Association responded in The Atlantic, saying that court reporters do not interpret or paraphrase, only transcribe. Some might ask, why don't people simply adapt to their English for the situation, a phenomenon known as code switching?
Not necessarily everybody has access to code switching, not necessarily everybody has access to different registers or different dialects of the language that they speak.
Code switching, for the record, is the difference between
God, or Gad, or God. My pronunciation of the roundness of the vowel, the length of the vowel tells a lot about your upbringing, and will create an in-group or out-group dynamic.
And that's another reason why I think it's very important that people be aware of the existence of African American English, aware of its structure, and that people who speak African American English and maybe don't code switch should still have access to equal justice and equal treatment under the law.
Let's look at what happened in 2013 at George Zimmerman's trial. When Rachel Gentile, a friend of Trayvon Martin's, testified, jurors questioned her credibility because of her dialect.
The funeral, why I go to the viewing, I didn't want to see the body. I did agree with my friends that I was going to go.
Because a lot of the times she was using phrases I have never heard before and what they meant.
When people hear African American English, oftentimes they have negative ideas about the speakers, which are related to negative ideas around blackness. They're not often or really ever related to any sort of actual flaws in the language or any sort of shortcomings that a person has, but there is a danger that, when people hear African American English, that they're leaping to conclusions about the person that's speaking.
All right. Yeah, I'll be finding it, and I will bring it. So, have you ever thought about that? Huh? Have you ever thought about it? For me, I know that is to be true, right? Now, again, I am not your lettered, talking black person, but my articulation, you understand, right? I'm not in here with this, what they call code switching. I talk the way I always talk. I grew up with people. Have you grew up with some people and you hear them and they professional and then you'd be like, that's code switching. That's what they talking about. The so-called, when you, again, what African American English, y'all. So next time somebody talking about, when you speak English, I'm speaking African American English. Motherfucker. right? I'm speaking African American language or African American English. Because again, to say you speaking English unless your ass from England, then you ain't speaking no proper English either. But they like to think so. They like to always, oh, he don't talk proper. He's not educated. No, I'm not programmed to that shit. I still know how to say the words, and motherfucker, I know how to read. So I obviously can pronounce the shit, but again, as a black American, know that I am not naturally an Englander. Like you might be a European English person, German descent and so forth. I am that which then comes from the continent. So I should have my own language, but it's been stripped, robbed, and taken away from me. So now I've been forced to speak something that is familiar to you, but is still foreign to me and my existence and my tongue. But you would say that, it's black dialect. Black dialect, right? What the fuck is black dialect? We speak the same shit y'all do. Now again, we different people. We're gonna have a different way to communicate with each other. Problem is, you don't want us again. Like I said, going back earlier, we can never have our own thing. Everything has to be so that you feel comfortable, so that you say you understand what we're talking. Because if we start talking the way you don't understand, you think we talking about your ass, which probably might be. But anyway, right? So remember back in about in the 80s, they started talking about some ebonics shit, right? Homie means friend, Charles Barkley. Homie means friend, right? Just like this dude talking about he be at. What? When last time you heard niggas talking about he be at? Like Screet, right? We know again, you don't expect a people, like, when people who first come here, let's go back in time. We ain't talking about now. We go back when somebody came, the immigrants and come here, their English would be fucked up, right? Right? Their English would be real fucked up. But you understood the hell you know what I'm saying? You understood. Or when they, again, sometimes even when they speak in their language, they still have to go to the English word to say the word because they don't got that word in their, in their vocabulary of their language. And so they say black people got their own dialect. Black people got their own English. They say things that, again, we may not fully understand, but they understand when they're talking. So they say, well, what happens when you in a situation in a courtroom and then here's this person who's a stenographer who is translating what you're saying to transcribe it to a transcript, right? Well, they find out that even though they said the accuracy of most of them is probably about 98%, but they said when it comes to the transcribing, to transcript what you said, they didn't even want to change the percent of how inaccurate they be. Think about that. I'm going to say that again. According to them, they say that 98% accuracy is primarily what they do. Again, when white folks talking, they can understand because they're the same. There's no misunderstanding. Black person somehow all of a sudden now they acting as if like I don't really understand the way he's talking. He's saying some things that I'm not understanding. So I'm going to put what I think he said. Now again, you in a court of law, everything in there counts. Everything that's being said need to be as accurate as possible. So then maybe again the diversity adds into a court stenographer. These might be somewhere the things that could be fixed, and motherfuckers are saying things that your ass didn't say. See, you better peep that. You better peep that game. Motherfucker in there saying shit your ass didn't say, but it's transcribed, and that's gonna say, well, that's what she transcribed. That's what your ass said. And so there is no accuracy in that. They've come to find out there's a lot of fallacies in that. And that can make the difference between life and death with your ass getting bigger sense of some shit that somebody using the transcript to say, to go back when they study and say, well, remember you was when you said that? You looking at like, I don't remember saying no shit like that. But that's what the transcript said. The transcript said you said that. And you sitting there like, I guess I must have said it. The transcript said it, right? But see, you ain't understanding this aspect to it, right? So, code switching. Basically what we say, talking white, right? Motherfucker talking white and shit. Now again, some people say, We're not saying because somebody's educated means you talking white. We're talking about when you got a lot of treble in your shit. When the bass done left in your voice and you're trying to sound in a way, like you say, well, Mr. Blows your mind, the way you talk, you talk with intimidating tones. I'm black. Nigga, that's the way I speak. Again, you know, some people, they hear you talking, they think that you yelling and screaming. No, motherfucker, this is how we talk. Why is it that, again, the way you talk, everybody, again, has to follow the way you see things fit? No, I'm me. I do what I'm doing, what I'm here to do, and do what I do. Not here to make you pleasant and feeling good about every damn thing that I must do. That's not going to happen. So, but you got a lot of people, again, in order for you to be, again, having your so-called corporate and being employed, you have to be code switching. Keep that in mind, peoples. Code switching. A lot of you do it. I know sometimes when I be talking about bills and shit and calling about, you know, my business and so forth, and sometimes I be hearing motherfuckers sound like a goddamn robot. I be like, I know that, and I'll break out of the business and fuck with a motherfucker. I'll be like, hey, your ass don't talk like that shit when your ass at home. You don't sound like that at home. Shit, get your ass, come home and shit. Come on some, you know what I'm saying, make your ass mad. I bet you don't sound like that shit. But you know how it is. Code switching. That's how you do it. That's, again, so that you, again, pleasable and affable by other people. Right? And so, you know, talking about this whole thing about pronunciation and sounding white and, you know, talking about the way you're educated is the way how you're saying God. You know, you understand? It's not about that. What it is we're just different people that have different dialects because, again, we were from different people going back. Some of us, we done lost that entirely and everything now we done took in and became now this black English motherfucker, right? That which ain't even that. English is a broken ass language, and we don't speak like the goddamn queen in them. So what shit is we really speaking, right? So matter of fact, let me show you how that when they be talking that shit, talking about you need to speak English, ask them this question: what is the United States official language? You will be surprised. It has none. You know why? You can't claim that shit and not be in England. United States does not have an official language. It is spoken primarily more Germans, but that don't make that this nation is a German-speaking nation. There's a lot of German-speaking mugs here. It cannot have that official because officially England would be those over there, and you don't want to say that because then that means it's their shit. You don't want to admit that shit. So you already did that shit. They doing some other mind shit, but that's another time for another story. So anyway, that's some information for you. Go on court stenographers. Get your see, look at that. See, get your transcript, and you'll find out when you were speaking in court and when you read it back, that shit won't even be the shit you said. They be saying, you'll say, what you gonna do, dog? Say all kinds of shit. You ain't saying no shit like that. But that's the way the person ain't heard you, and that's the way they think because you're not sounding the so-called sounding educated. I don't know what that means. Either you is or you ain't. Motherfuckers talk about, well, you're not even educated. I don't know what you mean. Put a book in front of me. I read all the motherfucking words that's on the goddamn page. You understand the fuck I just said, so I don't know what you mean by that. I'm not speaking the way you want me to sound. That's what you're basically saying. I don't want to sound the way that makes it sound good for you. But you understand the fuck I'm saying, though. You do understand the fuck I'm saying. So anyway, moving on. So just in case you didn't know that. Now we're going to get down to the nitty gritty. Right? We're going to get down to the nitty gritty. Because this one here, there's some bullshit. Some bullshit. Right? Because I just don't get it. I'm not understanding. And matter of fact, that's what this shit is here, really. This really what this shit is here. There's some code switching shit here. There's some code switching. This cat here, he doing code switching. You just don't think nobody's seeing it. What you talking about, Mr. Blows Your Mind? Well, let me show you this first. Let me show you this. Hold on. Don't move too fast, Speedy. Slow down. Okay. I'm going to show you this right quick. We should be right back. Check this out.
Let's come now to 2020 and the Democratic contenders coming to the defense of Senator Kamala Harris, the senator being targeted by online attacks they are slamming as racist and comparing to birtherism. Donald Trump Jr. attributed for elevating the attacks with this retweet about Harris's race. He later deleted it. And here's what former HUD Secretary and 2020 candidate Julian Castro had to say earlier.
This is the game that these folks play. They put something out there. You notice what he did. He tweeted it out, and then he deleted it like a coward so he can say, oh, that was just a mistake. But he knows what he's doing. He's giving voice to these racist, utterances about Senator Harris.
Let's bring the panel back in. Jonathan Alter, Susan Del Percio, and Roland Martin. Roland, you first here. Don Jr.'s spokesman told the New York Times, quote, that Don's tweet was simply asking him if it was true that Kamala Harris was half Indian, because it's not something he'd ever heard before. And then once he saw folks were misconstruing the intent, he quickly deleted it. What do you make of this?
Donald Trump Jr. is Fredo, and he clearly can't read a bio. All he has to do is go read the bio of Senator Kamala Harris, then you'll understand her background. And so he is probably the dumbest of all the Trump children. But here's the real issue here. The attacks on Senator Kamala Harris's blackness really started the moment she announced. And where it's really coming from, this is black self-hate cloaked in black self-love. There are people out there who are saying that because she is not a descendant of slaves, she really can't speak to the black experience. They dismiss the fact that she went to an HBCU. They dismiss her actual background. And that's what the real issue here. There are black people out there who are angry that who say Obama didn't do enough for African Americans. And what they're not doing is demanding really policy questions. They're questioning her blackness. You even have some fools out there who are black, especially a lot of black men, who are criticizing her because her husband is white. And so I understand that folks are talking about Donald Trump Jr. retweeting this, but really, you've got some asinine black folks out there who are the ones who are questioning her blackness, and they are shameful, and they are despicable, and then they should be called out at every turn.
Why do you, Susan, think that the Trumps keep wading into this territory? I mean, we can specifically focus on Don Jr.
Well, Don Jr. the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And that's exactly what his father would do. He put out these comments, and he likes to stir the pot, to Roland's comments. I mean, he is kind of Fredo, but I don't even give him that much credit, probably. But he's stoking the fire, and he thinks he knows what he's doing in these things, and clearly he does not. And all he wants to do is provoke a certain part of Donald Trump's base out there and then say, oops, I'm sorry. Well, that doesn't cut it. But I'd just like to say one thing about Senator Harris. I was watching her up there, and it was great to see a woman being up there having the debate she had. And I understand the importance of her race and her sex and what it means to a lot of young women out there. But what I saw was the only candidate acting presidential who I could see going up and meeting with world leaders and having a conversation. And I think she went in there prepared, and she now has a lot of people surprised and shocked, and they don't know what to do with it.
If not going up in a debate. I mean, that would be an extraordinary thing if she went up in a debate against Donald Trump. Yeah, I mean, we couldn't predict the victor on that one. So, Jonathan, he says he deletes the tweet. We're back to Donald Trump Jr. Cannot undo the impact of it. Talk about the kind of damage it does when you put these ideas out there.
So anybody can now drop anything into the bloodstream, but this is not just about Donald Trump Jr. You know, there was a story about how these Republicans are putting up these fake websites about Democrats. So they've decided that whether on Twitter, on this issue, or against other candidates, they're going to try to disrupt the Democratic primaries. Now, what does that remind you of, Alex? Who are the last people who tried to disrupt one of our elections? Russians. Bob Mueller indicted more than a dozen of them for using social media to try to disrupt our elections. This time we're going to see what you might call Russian Republicans who will be doing this between now and November of 2020. And the public is going to have to be informed that you have people in our own country, Republicans, who are acting like
Russian agents basically sowing disruption in our democracy.
Alex is vital. The African Americans out there who want to see in the black agenda, that is fair. But to have this purity test for Senator Kamala Harris is shameful. They should be called out. And African American leaders, civil rights leaders, Congressional Black Caucus, and others should be challenging these folks because it is ridiculous. And what they are doing, they are actually trying to suppress the vote. And don't be surprised if you see Russia in 2020 pick up on this to form a sort of dissent within the black community. And again, if you want to challenge Senator Harris on policies, do so. But do not dare question the issue of blackness. Because if you do, then you can't talk about, of course, Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm. You can't talk about Malcolm X, whose mother's from Grenada. You can't talk about Harry Belafonte, Sidney Poitier. You can't talk about Colin Powell, Eric Holder. There are many African Americans who have family from the African diaspora, like
Roland, I want to pick up on one of your points. I'm not sure that all the people tweeting this material are even black, because
you have a lot of people who are fake.
2016. You saw Russians and Republican operatives trying to get African Americans to not vote for Hillary Clinton. So there's a lot of people who are not who they say they are. So I think
Jonathan, a lot of these folks are black. Jonathan, I've been dealing with them since February.
Some of them are.
They even call me to question my blackness because my paternal great-grandparents migrated from Haiti. What I'm saying is those folks who are black, who are doing this, shame on all of you. Question her policies, but don't you dare question her blackness.
But in just so you know, in 2016, a lot of them were Russian. They were Russian, sowing dissent in the black community.
But I've met some of these people personally. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
All right, you guys, I'm glad to have all three of your voices chiming in on this one, Jonathan and Susan and Roland. Thank you so much. Have a good Fourth, guys.
Well. Hey, that's what we're talking about, right? Oh, you put it out there, right? You show where it's said, right? So let's take some of the things that had been said in that video, right? You hear Julian Castro. Now, again, they're talking about the fact that Donald Trump Jr. had tweeted that, again, he was like, oh, wow, I didn't. Matter of fact, I think, can I show that? I think I got that. I think I can show that. I don't got the, let me show you, see if I can see if I got that. Yeah, I got it in here. Check this out. Right? Let me show what his tweet said, right? Let's see what his tweet said, right? He said, is it true? Wow. Right? And it's Ali Alexander who's the one saying Kamala Harris is not an American black. She is half Indian and half Jamaican. I'm so sick of people robbing American blacks like myself of our history. It's disgusting, right? So what they showed is it true? But I see somebody else saying what they say. Now, again, I'm not trying to take up for Donald Trump Jr., right? I'm not trying to take up for him. What I'm trying to say is the fact is that it seemed like you're using this to really, because on the panel, it seemed like they stuck about Trump Jr., but it was more like Roland Martin was more focused on he's going to be the whisperer, the Negro whisperer, because he knows. He's been down there since 2019, February 2019. I know them. I with them personally. Okay. And I think he got ate up before, saying some crazy stuff before, right? Now, again, like I said, the most hated show on the black corner of the internet. There's other shows out here who could fit under that as well, right? But I don't think they've gone through what I've gone through as trying to hold a show, right? They're starting to feel it now, but not as like me being banned back to back and not even no notifications why. It's supposed to be the protocols of why you're doing what you're doing. You're just doing it because, again, you don't want me to be saying what I'm saying and for it to catch you, again, suppressing me, taking everything that I get numbers and make sure that you take it away so that I can't have my say in the ears of my peoples. Now, again, people want to say we divisive and trying to make it now that black people are racist because why? We have black pride. We have unification. We have taken on where everybody else would run from. Nobody wants to be, they can't believe, why would you want to be saying you're a descendant of slaves? Because that's who we are, and we're proud of that shit. We wear it with a badge of honor. It's in our blood. It's in our DNA. It is the thing that you hate so much, but it is the thing that we are that makes you hate us because we are in a position of greater than you. Now, you can take it or leave it alone. Now, Julian Castro, right? He once said, well, he's giving a voice to these racist utterance about Senator Harris. No, he's not giving no voice to the utterance. This is just a fact among this. Again, let me say it once again. Black has nothing to do with the color. Black is the amalgamation of those historically of the ancestors that have been brought here that they say from 1619 as a people collective group. We have been here for that period of time. We are the historical people of that from which 1619 to we are today. We are considered the black tribe of the United States because we can say we come from the continent of Africa, but you can take the DNA test and they'll tell you a geographical location, but you can't go to your family and be like, family, it won't happen. But here, you do have family. You do know who they are. You can't go to the gravesite and know the name, even though somebody, well, that's your slave master's land. Even though with that being said, but that is this identity that I have here. I would never be able to find out what my real, if that's what y'all want to say, real name that goes back to the continent, you ain't gonna never find that. So stop the bullshit, right? You're not gonna find that. So, we looking at after what we seen for 8 years with an individual who came in, played basketball, sang Al Green, got a black American wife. Some might even dispute that. And that whole persona that a mug did, mama from Kansas and daddy from Kenya, and we supposed to accept that, and we did, embrace that, fell for the okie doke, and end up holding a bag of rocks at the end. So now that done fruition, and a lot of people who still hold on to that, that's your business. But this time around, at this period of moment in history, 1619 coming on the 400-year anniversary, the ancestor spirit has risen up in us, give us an awareness, bringing us a unification, and we're saying if we're going to play this game now, it's not going to be the way it used to be. We're going to say now, is this how politics play? We're going to play the same way, and it's not the same old thing. It's not the status quo anymore. It's the new day. And people have a problem with us now saying, you want to talk about, if they talking about the policies. Well, before we gonna get to the policies with you, we have to self-identify if you're down with us. Are you going with us? Are you just gonna play the game and say you is just to get it to the position to get what you want and then turn your back and say, and again, we can even play the tape where the person said, I'm not gonna guarantee to get black, only just black folks nothing. Huh? We seen you say that on the Breakfast Club, right? We didn't want to see when you came out talking about we from Oklahoma and talking about that. Well, the person that raised you was your mama, but your mama gave you to a babysitter who was a black woman, and this is the one that was pretty much your surrogate mama and learned you and taught you everything about black. So they think black is just like putting on a goddamn costume. Or it went to an HBCU, it grew up in Oakland, California. You know what I'm saying? That don't make you us. Why are y'all trying to act as if like when we want to be what we are and we ain't what we want to be, we is who we is, because you on the outside of it, you think you can dictate to us who we should be by your standards. This ain't your house. This our house. This is the house we built. So when you in our damn house, you shut the fuck up and you take notes. You don't dictate shit here. What's wrong with these folks, man? Everybody trying to come in here and tell us what the fuck we supposed to be motherfucking doing. Right? So this is the shit he says, right? He says the real issue, right? He said the real issue is Kamala Harris' blackness. Really started the moment when she announced, right? The minute she announced that she was black, people was like, okay, we done heard this before. We done seen this song and dance before. So what happened? Check the pedigree. Do you know if you took a dog and put him into with them something, the dog show? that before that dog could get into the goddamn show, the dog got to be checked the pedigree to make sure that he's a thoroughbred, that everything that you say he is, they're going to check the pedigree. Well, what's wrong with us checking the pedigree? What's wrong with us checking the damn pedigree, right? We checking the pedigree now, right? So if we checking the pedigree and if you don't, as you say, purity test, I don't know if it's so much as a purity test. Purity test is, we done put somebody else in the office who wasn't one of us. When we going to get the opportunity to put somebody who like us? Again, you want to say policies, but we can't get nobody like us in there. So again, you're going to have to come out and say straight up. And if you ain't going to say straight up, then we ain't got no allegiance to you, just like you ain't got no allegiance to us. Right? You ain't got no allegiance to us. Other than the promises. We done heard that song. Promises, promises you can't keep. Huh? We done heard that song before. Right? So he goes on and says that, he said that it is black self-hate cloaked in black self-love. See? Everybody tries to dictate who we are, what we do, and how we feel. You are outsider, homie. You ain't cut from this cloth. You done already said in that your paternal grandfather came from Haiti, which means your father was the first born in the United States, and you second generation. Now you talking to somebody who 12 generations, 13 generations in this country. You only 2 generations. How you gonna sit here and try to talk to us like we don't understand the game? And we gonna get to that word asinine, right? We're gonna talk about that word asinine, right? And so it's cloaked in black love. Self-hate because we checking the pedigree. We trying to make sure this time if we gonna give our heart and our soul to a motherfucker, that we gonna make sure that this time, baby, you gonna be right. We ain't gonna just be saying, just you got black skin that make you my kin. We done fell for the okie doke that time. We ain't falling for it no more. And so now y'all upset because, matter of fact, let's check this out. Him sitting there talking about how self-hate we is, cloaked in black love. Wasn't he the one going with Hillary Clinton out there dancing and shit, doing the Dougie with motherfucking Hillary Clinton, but he didn't get down with Barack Obama? Well, what ship did you jump off on? Right? What ship did he jump off on? Right? Right. We know. We get it. We get it. Anything as long as not black. And again, his comment was about black men, right? Okay. Well, anyway, moving on. So he goes on and says, the people out there, which he talking about on this online, right, who are saying she is not descendant of slaves. She really can't speak to the black experience. Can you? Can you? That's like me coming in your damn house, getting with your wife, taking your place and saying, I'm going to be your husband. I already know everything in here go. And she just going to follow along with it because I'm replacing you. I'm going to be, don't worry about him. I'm going to do this. I'm your husband now. Right? He be like, if you don't get your ass out of here, nigga, I don't know you. Right? That's just natural. Right? That's just a natural thing. Right? But not to them. No. Anybody can speak on their experience because everybody think because I read your history. That makes me know it better than you because I went to HBCUs. I am Kundalini. That makes you know more than me that me, I am it, what you read. You know more than me because you read it. Nigga, I live it. I live what you read, and I read what you read. What makes you think you understand the game? You're expert over us. Is you crazy, man? See, that's that game they want to play. See, this thing about being educated. See, you again, we're talking about code switching so that you could be acceptable and affable and all that shit with them. You can't come down here with us because you ain't, again, you're going to find out you ain't as plugged in with us like you think. Now, again, you part of some fraternity and all that shit, and there's a lot of our people who get implied there because, again, you done learned early that you done already flipped squad before you even knew what the game was. You was Greek before you was black. And he gonna say, well, Greeks was black. Nigga, we know they ain't talking about that. So you already had jump ship on what you was until you figured out what the game was, but now you're going to try to use the game to try to get some upkeep and use it as an organization that's supposed to be doing some upkeep for black people. We still waiting. We still waiting. We still waiting on that, right? And so, you know, he going to say that we dismiss that she went to HBC. Just because you went to the black college don't make you us. We dismiss the fact that her background, that she's Tamil Indian and her father's Jamaican. That still don't make you black American. You have a history in Jamaica. You have a history in Tamil India. But you have no history here in the United States. You don't know our experience. You look at it and you think you understand, and you think because you think we dumb that you think you could just tell us and we gonna put. See, you fall for the game you trying to play with, and then you gonna talk to us like we ain't shit. Sound like some house nigga shit talking to the field niggas. That's what it sound like. That's what that shit sound like to me, right? So he goes on and says some shit to the fact that there are black people out there who are angry, who say Obama didn't do enough for African Americans. Pull the receipts. Show us if we saying what we saying is a damn lie. Show us the damn receipts. Don't give me the Al Green dance. Don't show me the damn Jay-Z swipe the shoulders. Don't show me the Kobe drop the mic. Don't show me the nigga only got a left hand playing basketball. Give me something tangible that we can, give us something that we can feel. Huh? Gonna come up short, ain't we? So you fooled us that time. We gonna think you gonna let us fool us again? I don't think so. And what they're not doing is demanding really policy. We got one agenda: reparations. That is the only policy that we are looking at, based on the fact, again, 1619 is the history of us as black Americans in this nation. And we're saying 400 years has been long enough. The rent is due. It's time for you to do something to compensate for this deliberate institutional racism and everything else that's been keeping us out. And all you who just first, second generation, third generation, you ain't got no say in that. Sit your ass on the sideline and let us do what we got to do. Just because you went to school, you to find a way to get yourself in position, you do what you do, that's your job. But this is who we are as a people. Totally different. Totally different. Right? Totally damn different. There's questioning for her blackness. You may have some fools out there who are black, especially black men, who are criticizing her because her husband is white. Well, didn't they say, and I think I even heard once upon a time on somebody's show, that you can't talk black and sleep white? Do I need to say that again? You can't talk black and sleep white and think that somehow there's no compromising in something about you. You can love who you want to love. I don't trip on that shit. You just showing me that you're showing something in your hand. It's kind of like the same thing, right? We just know, again, if you know what you're talking about, if you say people from India and the people that her people come from ain't kind of consider themselves the Dravidians. They ain't trying to see themselves as more of a higher caste people, because matter of fact, her grandfather was politician. They check that out. And then look at her father, who is also a Jamaican. That don't mean every Jamaican, but Jamaicans know that there is those Jamaicans who think they high and mighty and more closer to white, and the rest of you countryman, huh? The countryman ass Jamaican. Now you more close as a nigga like I am. But you know you have those other ones that think they better and they white like that. So does that there? So if you put them two together on the ideology, are they trying to cut from where I'm coming from? No. No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. So what else you got in there? He says that So I understand the folks are talking about Donald Trump Jr. retweeting this, but really got some asinine black folks out there. We are the ones who are questioning her blackness. Now let's check this word out, asinine, right? For those who might not have caught that, right? Let me tell you asinine. Asinine means to be stupid, to be dumb, dopey, moronic, empty-headed, unintelligent, imbecile, ox-like, dull, inexpressive, expressing less, a addlehead, a addle brain, muddled head, dull-witted, dim-witted, slow-witted, half-witted, witless, unwitting, mindless, insult, brainless, dense, thick, bovine, obtuse, oafish, loaftish, cloddish, lumpish, blunt, dotlish, blockish, ass-like, block-headed, bone-headed, wooden-headed, thick skull, obstinate, stubborn, intricable, mullish, obdurate, unyielding, unbending, idiotic, foolish, silly, absurd, inane, pointless, nonsensical, senseless, ridiculous, laughable, desirable, incautious, imprudent, indiscreet, irresponsible, injudicious, unwise, ill-considered. It's a lot. There's a lot of words that ties to asinine, and he said it in one word of a whole lot of shit he threw at us. He said one word that threw a whole lot of shit at us. But you love black folks. Oh, you only love black folks who look similar like you. The ones y'all believe because you educated and you got this and that, and everybody else, well, y'all just, cannon fire. You just fire for the wood. Well, it's the fire of the wood that's going to make this shit go. It ain't going to never be that shit y'all doing. If you don't get it from here, ain't shit happening. You can do all that shit y'all doing. Without us, ain't shit happening. Because matter of fact, this whole shit that y'all doing is based on the simple fact that these people that you call asinine has got people stirring up the status quo. It is these people who are making things not go in the way of tradition. So they have to go get all their puppets to say all this shit because things ain't going the way we want it to go. And so what you're doing is you're leading the shit up to do what? Blame it on black folks, primarily black men. So to end off what he said that these black Americans who want to see a black agenda is fair. What do you mean it's fair? You don't get to decide if what we talking about, whether it's what. See again, Massa, I gonna go out there like in Django. I'm gonna be out there like Samuel Jackson. It'd be fair if y'all talking about agenda, but don't question her blackness. To have her purity test for Kamala Harris is shameful. No, it's not. Why is it shameful? That we don't want to be duped again. We don't want to be bamboozled again. If you can't promise us nothing that you said openly that you wouldn't, then why do we have to support you? What makes it that we have to follow because you have some pigmentation in your skin? So we say that we're threatening about saying that we won't even participate. That's a choice we fought for. We died for. We slaved for. We do it if we choose to. Ain't about what you talking about. So he says that that they should call out the African American leadership, civil rights leader, Black Caucus. Like, really? Them motherfuckers in the same pocket your ass in, right? They're in the same pocket you in. They don't lead over us. They only see fit when the situation fits for the agenda they want. Then they do. Let me ask you what. Hey, have any of y'all ever had a situation and you try to call one of them damn organizations and they'll turn your ass away because why? You ain't got nobody that's plugged in with them to bring your ass in to see if your situation is garnered. You understand? Get out of here with that. Man, get out of here with that, man. Right? So he goes on and says that it's ridiculous what they are doing. Actually, they're trying to do is suppress the vote. Don't be surprised if you see Russia in 2020. See, y'all trying to use this Russia shit. It's got a couple of Russian motherfuckers, but they told you primarily there was only a few of them. Man, wait a minute. We had no choice in the race. What's so hard to understand that? Your girl was what your choice was, and this was the other choice. It's like they're picking up two, what they say? What they call it? Two evils? Two different evils, right? Some motherfucker decided to sit the fuck out. Huh? Choose on the lesser evil. We decided there was none worth choosing. And we don't have the right to sit the fuck out and say, I fucking it don't make no difference. Because you're going to get the same thing. You're going to get an agenda. It was going to be by female or male. That other one ain't nobody. Trying to act as if like the other one was better. Huh? Like the other one was better than this one. Really? No, because you had something to gain in that. There was some kind of biscuit in the pocket for you if you could get the job done. But you mad as fuck is because you didn't get it. You didn't go down with Obama either, did you? So that's twice. Once, twice, might be 3 times a loser. Huh? All right. So, he goes on and said that the Russians would use this dissent amongst black people, the community again. Challenge Kamala Harris on policy, do that. But don't you dare question her issue of blackness. I don't know what give you the authoritative position to tell us, sound like someone told us, put down that Xbox and put down that chicken. Y'all got the mitigated gall to be saying shit to us like y'all really, your say-so really matters in our household. You don't live, you don't go through the shit we do. You more closer than the people that you're trying to represent, more than what we are. Now you might talk and do the dance and all that shit. And just because you get so-called people who supposed to be celebrities, a lot of us at these days we don't even give a shit about that no more. Right? We looking at what the agenda is, and what we trying to do is build something to get something for that who's coming behind us. You looking for what you got and what you got now. Whatever your generation is, if you don't have no children right now, that's it. It was only 2 generations. With us, we double digits, homie. We double digits and a half. You understand? We got a lot more in this skin in this game than you'll ever get. Huh? You talking to somebody the same age as you, right? Somebody who's talking about somebody the same age as you, but they have way more lineage than you, and yet you be talking to them like you got more in the game than they do. That's shameful. That's disrespectful. That's when you understand that these motherfuckers ain't with you. They own it for whatever the agenda they got for themselves. They ain't it for you. Because if they did, they would understand and say, fuck it, well, that's what they own. We got to ride what they own. God said, we disagree with it or not. That ain't what y'all doing. You trying to tell us how to do it. And like somebody said, difference between somebody being a manager and somebody being a boss. Managers out here managing because the boss told you to get your ass out there and get them in line. Hopping Bob. So at the end, he says that his paternal grandfather was a descendant from Haiti, right? So that lets you know right off the bat, right? You don't feel what we feel. You ain't gone what we gone through. You experience through your lifetime of what you gone through and what the stigmatization of being us is about in this country. But you don't have the lineage. You have not gone through the horrific, horrendous, tragic that our ancestors and we have gone through. So with that being said, I think you need to do an apology to us. And if not, well, ancestors got their way of dealing with people. Because this will be the second time you pulled that move. So, y'all, I'm going ahead. I'm in out on the show with that because why ain't nothing else need to be said? It is what it is, right? People showing their hand for what they truly is. And they think, again, they doing the bidding for their master. Going to try to put us in, Lord, and check us and tell him it's about us and we trying to divert and we trying to destroy. No, you hear us loud and clear. You've been down here since February. You hear loud and clearly what we talking about. And if you're not down with the agenda, then that's what it is. Then do you and all them other cats that said I'm going to the whole thing to destroy the ADOS and all. Everybody talk like that. Then y'all get together and then y'all form y'all clique and y'all go aside and do what y'all do and advocate for how you want. But don't be sitting there trying to tell us what we can't do and what we won't do. It ain't going to work. That's why they sending you. And it didn't work last time. It ain't going to work this time. It ain't going to work no more. That game is over. Well, this is your show. Host, Mr. Blows Your Mind, come with another thought-provoking show. Till the next show, y'all, stay black, love, and peace, and all that good stuff. That's how it goes.
Portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
I'm here to tell you tonight that the businessmen, the mayor of this city, the police commissioner of this city, and everybody in the white power structure of this city must take a responsibility for everything. Can you feel it?
Luther and I and everyone in this arena tonight are unified by the same great American values. We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Race is when you use your power and influence to subject people into inferiority. Utterances can't be racist.
Look around you, man. They own this shit. They own this couch you sitting on, them shoes you got on your feet, this building, this school, this country, you. We're behind enemy lines, dog.
So you must first of all remember that this system was not originally designed with black people in mind. Right on, and it definitely was not prepared for black people to, in the end, begin to demand their rights and an equal share in this country which they've died for. Right on. Hey, and we definitely are not going back to Africa.
In the church, we used to sing the song, "Good news, the chariot is coming." While you sit here today, knowing that you have come to hear good news, you must realize in advance what good news for you might be bad news for somebody else. What good news for the sheep might be bad news to the world.
They say, oh, things are getting so much better for you. In 1849, it was hitting blacks on the head 100 times a day. In 1990, they hit them 48 times a day. Isn't it better? Oh, it's got to be better. You're saying 52 blows.
The only purpose of most black Americans on earth today is to destroy.
I think that's noble. Italians love Italians. When Irish love Irish. But when a nigga loves a nigga, it's an unpardonable sin. They have blood in their hands. When we say they have blood in their hands, we are not saying him, George Bezos, went and killed. But white people colonized us. They dispersed us. They enslaved our people. They sucked our economy dry. They are still sucking it dry even today. That's white people. Tony Blair, George Bush, Napoleon Bonaparte, Leopold, Adolf Hitler, Benjamin Netanyahu. All white people, they are the same. They are racist and they are full of hate.
I've been waiting for you.
You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Why am I here?
Our world is coming crumbling down. The coons are coming.
You got to understand that white America has an uncanny way of making the victim the victimizer. Excuse me, master, for putting my head in the way of your club. Not that your club is brutalizing my head and putting hickeys on it. My head got in the way of your free swing and broke your shiny stick, and I want to apologize for that.
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision. While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here.
There are more connections in the human body than there are stars in the galaxy. We possess a gigantic network of information to which we have almost no access.
Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the 6th version.
5 months before me. 3, 4. There are only 2 possible explanations. There were 5 months before me. Either no one told me, or no one knows.
Precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations.
Control me! I'm gonna smash you to You can't make me do anything like Chris!
Choice. The problem is choice.
Let us remember that we are not brutalized because we're Baptists. We're not brutalized because we're Methodists. We're not brutalized because we're Muslims. We're not brutalized because we're Catholics. We're brutalized because we are black people in America.
Because white people made him to be what he is. They made him to look evil, because that's their role, to make all of us black people to look evil and to hate ourselves. I can't hate.
You're a nigga till you die. If you're a poor nigga, you're a poor nigga. If you're a rich nigga, you're a rich nigga. But you never stop being a nigga, and if you get to be educated, you're just an educated nigga.
I'm told every day I'm on air that I'm racist because I call out racism. That is maddening to me, and I'm crying about it because it's crazy.
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching you and I and trying to tell the white man to get this powder keg out of his house. Let the black man separate from his house. Let the black man have his own house. Let the black man have his own land and his own property.
I thought the bitch was white! Damn it! I thought the bitch was white!
That's true.
I think that white people are so guilty, knowing what they've done to black people, that they feel if the deeds were reversed, they would hate the black man if he had done the same thing to them. So it's actually, it reflects a guilt complex on the part of whites when they ask us, do we hate them? And if you notice, Uncle Sam has formed a habit of going all over the world. He calls it the ugly American, or the American image. He thinks that everybody hates him because it's a guilt complex. And if you think that if you are worried about Europeans hating you, and they're your allies and your cousins, well, naturally it would follow for you to think that Negroes in this country would hate you, especially in light of what has been done to black people in this country by white people.
Now, check it out. The white ball dominates everything, right? Knocks the shit out the yellow ball, the red ball, right? And the game's over when the white ball drives the black ball completely off the table.
But you have to see that all of this is hypocrisy.
I love Malcolm. Malcolm called me the Sunday that he died. I was working Basin Street East. He said, Brother Greg, you coming by today. And I said, Malcolm, I love you. And I said, I love you so much, I don't even want to take a chance to be there. He said, what do you mean, Brother Greg? I said, well, I close tonight, Sunday night at Basin Street East. And I said, but I had my wife book me a flight into Chicago at 8 o'clock this morning. And I'm going to Chicago, and I had way beneath my salary booked me into a college about 10 miles from the airport. And I'm going to go there and speak this afternoon, and I'm going to stay there until they tell me you dead. Because I'm not going to let this government get two of us for the price of one. And I'm going to call Adam Clayton Powell when I finish talking to you and beg him not to come there. Because today, the United States government is going to get you.